So this is a video that I've been wanting to make for quite some time. The pocket pistol or the mouse gun category of firearms is one of my favorites. It's something that I really enjoy personally. And you know, as the country's concealed weapon laws have been getting better, people have been turning to the pocket pistol as an option for their concealed carry. And so in recent years, these pistols have been gaining in popularity. And so I kind of want to take a look at a few that I have and show you guys some of the variations out there and talk a little bit about each one. I'm not going to do a full review on each one of these, but just kind of give you guys an overview of them. A couple disclaimers before I get started. I do have a cold, so I'm a little bit more sedate than I usually will, and if I sniffle or sneeze or cough during this video, just bear with me. I'm going to try to get through this with minimal disruption, but just to let you know. Also, I'm not going to safety check each one of these firearms on camera, but I just want to let you know that each one of these firearms have been safety checked. I am going to be handling each one of them, and so I want to let you know that they are free and clear. So what is the definition of a mouse gun? Okay, my definition somewhat varies from the mainstream definition, and what I consider a mouse gun, or I equate that with a pocket pistol, is just that, something that fits in the pocket. Something that you can carry with minimal disruption to jeans and a t-shirt. And so these are what I consider mouse guns. Now, I have heard definitions of mouse guns such as anything that is 380 ACP or less in caliber is a mouse gun. I just think that it's hard to pigeonhole the definition just by caliber alone, just because there's large 22 calibers, there's large 380 calibers, there's even large 32 ACP calibers, firearms for calibers. So anyway, so let's go ahead and talk about each one of these. This is going to be really informal. I'm not going to go ahead and show you all the features on each one, but I do want to talk and give you guys a little show and tell of each. Okay, so let's take a look at each one of these. So let's first start off with the North American Arms little 5-shot revolver. This is a really cool little pistol. The scratches here are from a holster that it had that kind of folded up into the gun to make it look like one little piece, and so that's what those are from. But I do like the wood grips a lot better, and so I just kind of went back to those. It's got a 5-shot, and the cylinder kind of removes here. If you guys really want a cool review or to see more of these, go to gun websites, because over to his channel, because he's got a lot. He kind of collects these, and they're a really neat little pistol. Just single action. They have a half cock, and but yeah, just really cool. Now these aren't very accurate. They're not an incredibly accurate pistol. And for the most part, you're not going to get a lot of power out of the 22 long rifle from something a barrel this short, just because of these cartridges were really designed to be more rifle cartridges, and so you're really not going to get a ton of velocity out of them. Now, if you Google search some velocities from these guns, there's lots of people that chronograph these so that and they give you numbers, and a lot of times it's in the 600 feet per second range, so not a huge amount of speed from those, but definitely still deadly, especially if you're using like full metal jackets or lead round nose. So, and the sight is only just a single front sight on it, so really minimal sights, just a real close-in pistol. Okay, that's a little North American Arms 5-shot revolver. Okay, next, let's take a look at this kind of interesting gun. This is a Baford Arms Thunder, and this is a single-shot Derringer pistol, and it's chambered for 44 special, but you can also shoot 410 out of it. And really, it's just a single shot little Derringer. It's a break open to the side. You can kind of see down there. See that it. Let's see if it'll focus here well enough. It's a smooth bore until the last little bit let's see if you can look down at this direction here. Let me shine my little flashlight up here into the bore here. You can see it. See that? It's a smooth bore, and then it has rifling at the end. This is definitely, I've never actually fired this pistol, believe it or not. Yeah, I've never fired it. It's just kind of been a safe queen. But it's just kind of one of those interesting little pistols. A single action actually has a very, very light single action trigger pull. So it could be accurately aimed, although there is absolutely no sights whatsoever. Let's see here. It is a smooth top. That's it. No sights at all on it. So now a 44 special from this thing is going to kick like a mule. Okay, even 44 special in a larger frame revolver is very mild, but in something like this, it's going to freaking rock your world. You can also shoot. Whoops. You can also shoot 410 shotgun from it. So, and there's various different loads available for that, and I'll show you those in a second here. But anyway, that's the Baford Arms pistol, and it's made in Bristol, Tennessee. Now, I think Baford Arms went out of business a while back, so they don't make this pistol anymore. But definitely a get-off-me gun. This is, stick it to somebody's barrel or belly and pull the trigger. Okay, this is not meant for any kind of distance engagement. Okay. All right. So next, let's show you the American Derringer. Okay, this is the American Derringer in 45 Colt and 410 shotgun. What a beautiful classic Derringer! It's absolutely amazing. These are the aftermarket Staghorn grips. Okay, see that there's a safety there. This is an ejection lever, and let me just open it up here for you. How you open it is you push on this here, and that allows this little arm to swing free, and then you open it from the bottom. And you can see that the same thing applies here, as you have rifling at the very end of the barrels, and it has an ejection thing, so you can just kind of eject the shells out of there. And you can see the two firing mechanisms right there. This thing will rock your planet, okay? It shoots a 45 Colt. The 45 Colt out of this thing is just incredibly painful to shoot. Probably one of the most painful guns to shoot I've ever fired. The Staghorn grips do fill up your hand quite a bit, but the recoil is just brutal with one of these things. I can shoot, and I shoot it quite often, but I don't shoot it a lot. Okay, so quite often, but only a few rounds at a time, because I don't like to handle much more than that. But anyway, yeah, just absolutely classically beautiful pistol. So you'll cock back the hammer, fire, it'll fire the top cylinder, cock back again, and it'll fire the bottom, I think. It might be the other way around, but either way, that's how it works. Okay? And some of the rounds that can be fired, some of the ammunition that can be fired, here's an example of a few. We have just a hard cast bullet there. I'm not sure what the grain is on that, but and then this is the jacketed hollow points. Okay, I think those are Fiocchi rounds, big old huge monster bullets. And then we have, this is a great little snake gun because you can fire four shot in it. And the little Thunder here would also be a great little hiking snake gun, something like you could take on a hike with you, a desert gun. And then you can also shoot like a 1/4 ounce slug from them. That's the Remington 1/4 ounce slug. And then this one is actually a triple aught buck, 3 pellets. That would be a brutal little load as well. So anyway, just a vast amount of ammunition that can be fired from that Derringer. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on here to our semi-autos. Okay, so first off, let me show you probably one of my favorite little pistols sitting here on the table, and that is the Beretta 950 BS Jetfire in 25 ACP. This thing is just a freaking awesome little gun. Okay, now the 25 ACP is really underpowered. In fact, you're getting about 65 foot-pounds of energy out of it. That's less than a 22, than a high-powered 22 long rifle. But the reason why they that people went with the 25 ACP was the fact that it was more reliable. Okay, it's a centerfire cartridge, and so it's more reliable in its way it feeds and performs. So that's primarily where the 25 ACP came from. But and that's not a historical thing. That's just kind of, you know, how it works. The mag release is down here on the bottom. Okay, and this has an 8-shot magazine. Alright, so 8 shots in the mag and 1 in the chamber. The cool thing about Berettas is that they have this pop-up barrel, and so you can actually manually load or unload a round without taking the magazine out, which is really neat. Okay. The sights on this are pretty precise, although minimal. You can see the little notch on the back, and there's the sight picture if I can get that correct. Let's see here. Yeah, so it's a really minimal sight picture, although this is an accurate little pistol. Very, very accurate. With those, even though those sights are small, if you can see them, they're pretty precise, and so they can definitely get you on target. It is a single action only, so you can't cock the hammer with the trigger itself. It does have kind of a mushy take-up a little bit, and then it's a little gritty, and then it releases, but still really, really nice. And you can fire this thing incredibly fast. The 25 ACP has very little recoil, and so follow-up shots are instantaneous. I think Nut and Fancy's the one that did the 950 mag dump. So if you go ahead and check out his channel, you can see like a 9-shot mag dump on it. And I mean, talk about unbelievable. Now, I only recommend that you carry full metal jackets in a 25 ACP. I don't recommend hollow points. It can be carried cocked and locked, just like a 1911, which is the way I recommend carrying it. I will show you one example of a 25 ACP. This is a Hornet FTX bullet. I believe it's an FTX bullet. Either way, it's a Hornet bullet. And the one thing that's about the 25 ACP is that it's a semi-rimmed cartridge, meaning the rim of the cartridge here at the base protrudes a little bit out further than the sides. So it kind of sits in the mag kind of a bit differently. But yeah, so it's a semi-rimmed cartridge. And let's see if I can show you the stamp there. It says Frontier on it, 25 ACP. Okay, cool little cartridge. Anyway, real underpowered. I do recommend full metal jackets so that you can get enough penetration to be lethal. And yes, the 25 ACP is lethal, and with 9 rounds into somebody's chest would be a very, very bad day. Okay, so alright, now let's move on to our Saturday night special here, which is the Jennings firearms, made by Bryco Arms in Irving, California. They are out of business, due mainly to lawsuits and things like that. This is the J22, okay, and 22 long rifle. It's a striker-fired blowback action. Okay, so it is unloaded, but let's go ahead and, oh, got the safety on. Let's go ahead and kick it back, and you can see, oops, go ahead and lock it. Okay, and it is striker fire. You can see the firing pin there drop. Okay, it's this is made of a zinc alloy. The frame and slide are made from zinc alloy, so it's a pretty heavy little gun because zinc is actually fairly heavy. But it's a blowback action, and this is what they refer to as a Saturday night special. Now it's 22 long rifle, and it has a European mag release. It's just this really cheap stamped magazine, really cheap. But this gun actually, if lubed properly and semi-clean, it will run 100% with high impulse ammunition, such as like mini mags and things like that. There's a little defect in the casting, you can see right there. When they cast this firearm, that's an actual factory defect. So it was actually sold that way. Just to let you know how freaking cheap this gun really is. There's another little defect right there on the back. Other than that, this gun's been treated perfectly. You know, it's never been abused at all. So, but anyway, that is the Jennings 22 pistol. Okay, very cool. I'll show you the sight picture. Just a standard 3-post sight, all black. All right. Okay, now let's move on to another one of my favorite pistols sitting here on the table, and that is the Beretta 30-32 Tomcat in 32 ACP. Now this is a stainless. This is the stainless version. Really, really cool gun, guys. This is one of the best options out there for someone that's really sensitive to recoil, and yet still wants to have a caliber that is, you know, somewhat capable. Okay. This one has, you can see on the grips, a little bit of the polymers that they used, that Beretta uses, is not really resistant to a lot of solvents, and that's what you can see that it's kind of been melted there. But other than that, this gun's in virtually perfect condition. It also, just like the Jetfire, has the pop-up barrel, so you can load and unload your round manually. Okay. It is not. This one is a double action, single action. So if the safety's up, you cannot rack the slide. Okay, but if you pull the trigger, it will fire double action, and then it'll also take over and do single action. The single action trigger on this is actually really, really good. You can get a lot of rounds off real quick with this. It does have a 7-round magazine, and it does hold one in the chambers for 8-round capacity, which is really, really decent. The 32 ACP, you're looking at about 100 foot-pounds of energy. It's one of those cartridges that you know, people argue quite a bit with, and I'll show you 3 examples of that here. But let me show you a sight picture on this. Kind of minimal sights, but definitely usable. Like I said, I showed you that 10-yard shooting, pretty cool. But yeah, one of my favorite little guns right there. That the Beretta Tomcat. Now let me show you a couple examples of 32 ACP. This is a 71 grain full metal jacket, and I'm gonna do a separate video on mouse gun ammunition, so I'm not going to go into it really in detail here. I'll link that video down once I have it. I'll make it a video response to this one. This is a 65 grain. No, this is a 60 grain silver tip, Winchester silver tip. And then lastly we have the 65 grain Federal Hydra-Shock, if that'll focus. There we go. That's a Federal Hydra-Shock for 32 grain. This is also a semi-rimmed cartridge, so the rim actually protrudes out beyond the sides of the casing. Okay, now let's go to the Ruger LCP. Now, the LCP is one of my favorite guns. This thing is one of my often carried pistols. The reason why is because it's such a functional little gun. It's very, very, very slim, slim profile, as you can see. It is lightweight. It weighs like 11.8 ounces or something like that, and really easy to conceal. And so this thing carries right along with me. It also shoots the somewhat powerful 380 auto, and there you can see that I've got the top engraved, Doc Tac Dead. It was actually signed by Nut and Fancy Impact Guns. Just a fantastic little pistol. There's lots of reviews out there, lots of information on these guns, but definitely one that I really recommend that you take a look at. Now, one thing that people will say is that, like, you know, the LCP is a chick gun, it's a gun for girls. Well, the thing is it actually kicks really, really hard. Well, it's really, really snappy. My wife actually doesn't really like to shoot this gun just because of its recoil. And you know, when I first shot this gun, I put 150 rounds through it at the range, and the web of my hand was sore for like 3 or 4 days afterwards. So it definitely has a little bit of a snap to it, and it's something that you've got to learn to control. But don't just because it's small and lightweight, don't place it in the category of a girl's gun, because that's not necessarily the case. And let me just show you an example of the 380 ACP. This is the Spear Gold Dot 90 grain, and that's what I carry in this. Okay. So anyway, guys, that is what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 examples of modern mouse guns. Something that you can easily conceal in your pocket, and that can still be very effective in self-defense. So If you guys have any questions at all on any of the firearms that you see before me, go ahead and leave a comment, or feel free to PM me, leave a video response, whatever you'd like, and I'll try to get back to you. Also, if you want to rate this video, I'd really appreciate it, and if you want to favorite it as well, that really helps the video, and it helps the channel, helps us grow. And so I really appreciate you guys watching, and we will catch you in the next video. Thanks a lot. See ya.